To me, it's like when you go outside and it's like fucking cold outside. It's like fucking awful. Like so like 30 below, like wind chill, like horrible. And you walk outside and all of your skin, like pretty much at the same time, is just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you for putting me in this situation. It's so fucking cold. This feels awful. This feels awful. I hate this. I hate this. And it all feels it at once, and all of your skin is just like yelling at you, and you're just like, I'm sorry, I have to go to class, like I need to make it to work, like it's important, like whatever. An orgasm is like that intensity of feeling, but instead of being negative and cold, it's positive and warm, so it's like all of your skin being like, yeah, totally, absolutely, fuck yes, absolutely, this is the coolest thing ever, like definitely, straight up, like your entire skin is just like, yeah, and there's just like choirs and shit.
Alright, so describe yourselves.
My name's Adam. I'm 25, turning 26 next month.
And I'm Brooke, and I moved here to Chicago from Nebraska, and I work at a bar, and I own my own business.
I live in Chicago. I'm 23. To describe myself, I have to quote Dave Chappelle and say, I'm sexy, I'm a scholar, people like me.
I'm Emma. I go to UC. I'm 23. I study early childhood education.
I'm Louie. I'm 23. I study construction management.
My name is Andrew Lane, and I am a PCA at University Hospital.
I'm a college student. I don't know. I study design. I'm not that crazy. I don't know. I play music.
I'm Joe. I'm majoring in architecture at UC.
I'm Russ, and I go to UC, and I'm single currently.
So, my name is Ingrid. I grew up in Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska, and I moved here when I was 17 for school.
I'm 22. I work in a bike shop. I don't really do anything with my life except for work in a bike shop.
I live in Cincinnati. I haven't always lived here.
Alright, my name is Kelly, and I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I am a fine arts student.
My name's Mike. I'm a graduate student here at UC. I live in Cincinnati. I always have.
I'm Amanda. I'm 19, and I'm a student here in Chicago, and I'm originally from Puerto Rico. Oh, and I'm a psychology major.
How does mindset affect the extent of your orgasm?
My mindset, it depends on how I feel about the other person.
I think that mindfulness and focus on whatever is at hand is of pretty much the utmost importance.
If I'm worried about anything, like that just ruins it. Like
basically, an orgasm is like a contraction of your muscles. So if you allow like your muscles to relax and just go like as it naturally happens, then you have more of a chance of achieving that orgasm. The quality of your sex life does correlate greatly with mental health.
That, I guess, just goes back to being comfortable. When I'm comfortable, everything just happens naturally. All this stuff's interconnected, so everything starts with your brain. Anything that you do starts up there.
Do you think one can have a mental orgasm?
Yeah, definitely.
If you have memory inside of you of what it feels like, so if you think about it hard enough and you spend enough time with it, then you should be able to do it.
I think there is a lot to do with like the body-mind connection, because if it happens in your sleep with no necessary external physical stimuli, then that is just your mind producing it on its own because it desires it that much.
It's also the pleasure system in the brain. So if you could train your brain to trigger those areas, then you have like the ability to really have like control of your mind in that way. I think it's possible.
How would you say you perceive sex, and how does that affect your sexual life?
I perceive sex as a connection between two people.
I think since I don't believe that there's any higher being, like sex is like one of the more beautiful things that I can do, one of the more the highest level of ecstasy that I can reach, period. just as a, mammal. I tend to see it more, as like something on National Geographic as opposed to something on Skinamax. It's not something magical, but it is something very fruitful and something very, wanted.
If it's like right, then I get inspiration. Because a lot of my stuff is highly sexualized.
I'm a creative individual, and this is part of my self-expression, my expression of love. I think if you do just take it for what it is, as, an expression of love or, just physical enjoyment, then it becomes a lot more enjoyable if you just try to make it as pleasurable as possible.
Do you think that the orgasm could improve if you have a higher state of mind?
Do you mean drugs?
I mean, like a higher spiritual connection.
You mean drugs?
I think they can perceive to raise the ecstasy of an orgasm, which is all that really matters. But I don't think that the chemical makeup of what's going on in your head and the releasing of endorphins and everything actually changes.
I've heard that orgies are very spiritual experiences. You can share that pleasure and ecstasy with a group of people, and it's not really about like monogamous relationship. It's about sharing that with all.
The term, tantric sex, maybe I could see being more of like a psychological, spiritual type experience.
I've done a guided meditation before, and you definitely don't really need physical stimulation.
You achieved an orgasm in meditation.
It was guided, it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
It's possible. They don't really describe anything to you. They ask you to conjure up memories of your past and things and fantasies of the future, like anything like that.
I feel like sexuality and spirituality don't intermix that much.
I think the thing about it is not every person views themselves as having a spiritual component.
Yeah.
So
right.
that topic about sex isn't always present in the conversation.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame.
In your relationship, do you think your orgasms differ from each other's?
I mean, sex is pretty much like the ultimate connection between two people. It's like a very spiritual, physical connection, and I feel like, wanting to just enhance each other's vibration levels and, doing good for both of us totally helps us, especially in fights.
I think that we both really appreciate each other's orgasms, though.
When we do have them together, it's much stronger.
Yeah, it totally provides another sort of connection.
Do you think that fear or past pain from relationships could play a part in your future relationships and orgasms?
Yeah.
Not really. More of my problems have to do with overconsumption of alcohol.
I definitely
feel
think
like past experiences generate you as a person just in general, so especially for sexuality, that would play a huge role.
I think you're totally right about that.
Do you think that your orgasmic experience in a monogamous relationship differs from single life?
An orgasm with my girlfriend is honestly, throughout my experiences in the past, is the best. Normally, if I wasn't in a relationship, I'd be a drunken wastrel, whatever, and I go to a bar and I pick up a girl, and regardless of whether or not I remember having the sex with that person, if I do remember it, it's not that great. It's just kind of like an activity at that point. You're both in it together for a certain product, if you will. I'm getting in and I'm getting out. Literally.
This is what I like. I just want you to do this for me, and we can call it a day.
When you are with somebody on a consistent basis, it makes things easier, but it also makes things more predictable.
The enjoyment of being, in a strong relationship is that you can work to that level as long as there's, certain patience and understanding.
And do you have any last words as far as sex and orgasms go?
They're really easy to fake.
Overall, sexuality, I think, is an expression of really who you are, down to your core.
Sex is great. You should have a lot of it.
Sex is a beautiful thing that gets a bad rap.
I'm not getting down on the idea of trying to enhance the sexual experience with like psychological tricks, but at the end of the day, they are psychological tricks.